Hello there. Thank you for joining me. Do you like my table? Let me show you how I made it. What's going on, YouTube? Today we are gonna take 4 2x8s that are 8 feet in length and turn them into the very first dining table I've ever made. So we made 8 different pieces of 45-inch 2x8s. They're all sanded now. I actually took my sander, used 60 grit first, and went over as much as I could to smooth everything out. I don't have a planer or a jointer, so obviously this step took a lot longer, but I used 60 grit because it really eats away, gets everything much smoother, faster. Everything nice and open, nice and smooth. We're gonna get this dark walnut in the wood, and then we are gonna let it dry, sand it with 220 to make it super, super smooth for our tabletop. And then we will hit it with another coat of the dark walnut. All right, so we have our 8 pieces now sanded with 220, stained again. And we have our 6 here that are gonna make the main part of our table. And we have these 2 over here that'll be our end pieces to get us right around 60 inches. But the next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna go through the table and mark every 6 to 10 inches on center of these pieces for our biscuits. So we're gonna use our jointer for the first time ever. We are gonna try that here. Obviously you could do dominoes with a festool if you have that. You could do pocket holes, but we're gonna give this a shot. A little bit more of a advanced woodworking technique. Probably not, because I'm doing it right. But anyways, that's what we're gonna do. See you in that clip. All right, first of all, Ice Cream Man's going by. Check it out, thumbs up. Secondly, what I did is you can see I made my mark every 6 inches from the center to the left and to the right. And they say you shouldn't go anywhere closer than 2 to 3 inches to your edge grain. So here we are roughly about 4 inches away. And I just traced that all the way down onto every piece. Obviously all these middle pieces are gonna get biscuits on each side, whereas our edge pieces only get the one on the inside because we don't want to ruin the edge of the table. So that's what that process was. And now we're gonna take the good old jointer and throw in these biscuit holes. Definitely, that's the professional term for it. So make sure you always refer to them as biscuit holes because I said so. All right, let's get into it. You can see everything has been biscuited, or at least had like the holes cut with the jointer. The reason why you didn't see any of it is because I thought I was recording and I didn't. So what we need to do is get all of our straps ready for a glue up because I do not actually have big enough parallel clamps. So maybe one day we'll get those bad boys, but for now, we're just gonna use some good old fashioned ratchet straps. These bad boys right here. All right, so got to work a lot faster, obviously. Secondly, I'm gonna start gluing in the actual biscuit holes. Once I get my biscuits in there and there's overflow from the glue, I'm gonna roll that out and then roll between all the joints. And I think I'm gonna put the glue on all these gaps here and then we will work from there. But yeah, so this will be interesting, but I'm gonna work a lot faster and we're gonna adjust on the fly and we will get this done, so. Whew. All right, that was quite the process, but here we are. This is how we are letting this glue up dry. Let me tell you, learned a lot in that glue up. Got very scared, got very frustrated, but we got it done. And we are now here drying out. I wanted it on the sawhorse, the tabletop on the sawhorses, simply so that I could access everything a lot easier versus trying to fumble it around on the table. So we have that here. We have this glue up going and drying with our ratchet straps. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with how everything turned out here. More than likely, I'm gonna use pocket holes to secure our edge pieces. So you kind of get two options of how you can do this this joinery. You could either do pocket holes for everything, you could do biscuits for everything. So I'm kind of showing you both, and yeah. So we have done a little bit of progress. What we did, we had a successful glue up, so yay to that, because this is the bottom of the table right now. We cleaned up our edges on both ends, then I touched them up with some stain, and we took our 2x8s, adjusted them to the current width of this tabletop, which is actually 43 inches. I made the mistake and I cut it to 45. After we got that cut, I have made all the pocket holes on that end piece, as well as this end piece here. So we are gonna start by securing this end piece down there, and then we'll get the other end done, and then we're gonna be done with the actual tabletop itself, and then we'll be on to some legs. So let's do it. So here we are, we have the tabletop flipped over now back to the top of our tabletop. Funny enough how that works. So what we're gonna do next is we're actually gonna take some 320 grit. I haven't done this in a very long time. We're gonna take some 320 grit, go all around the edges, all around the top, get this super, super smooth, touch it up one more time with one more coat of stain, and then we'll actually be on to the legs. So yeah, okay, see you there. What you're gonna see here, everything that we are using for the legs is 1-inch diameter pipe. And then for these pieces, for all the connective part of the legs, we have 6 18-inch pieces. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are connecting our 18-inch pipes with our T-connectors right there at each edge. And then in the middle, in order to make sure I hit that 45-inch length, I used 2 couplers at the edge of each of these pipes, and then used a 3.5-inch pipe right there to connect it. So that's how we have our connective tissue for all of our legs. So now let me get into the actual leg portion of this table. All right, everyone, so this is what it takes to make one leg. Remember, everything is 1 inch in diameter. We have 2 12-inch pieces as the main part. We're gonna have a T connector, 2 floor flanges, one for the actual floor, one that'll go into the bottom of the table, or actually the braces that'll be on the bottom of the table. And then the last little bit that we need to get to our measurement of 29.25 inch tall is a coupler and a nipple. So this is obviously just a standard 1-inch coupler, and then this is a 2-inch nipple. So this is everything it takes to make one leg. I will do a time lapse of me putting this together, and we'll look at it, and then I will do a time lapse of the other 3 legs. So sit back and enjoy. All right, and as you saw, that was very simple in the process. We have our flange, our 12-inch piece, our T connector, our next 12-inch piece, the coupler, the nipple, the actual other flange, and that's really all it takes to do these type of legs. And obviously, our T connector on here is gonna connect to one of these on here. So we have the other 3 all separated, ready to be built. So again, I'm just gonna time lapse that. Make sure you really get these snug. I don't know if you could tell in the time lapse, but after I had everything assembled, I kind of went through piece by piece, making sure it was really secure and in there. It helps you get to your exact measurement you need, and to make sure your table doesn't fall apart, which is probably the more important one. Am I right? Of course I am. Anyways, let's do more. And just like that, we have all of our piping legs assembled, all 4 right here, as you can see. The reason why I'm kind of staying far away is because my hands are disgusting. So, piece of advice, if you're seeing your significant other the day you are trying to make some pipe legs, really, really make sure you're prepared to wash your hands for an extremely long amount of time. But we have all these done. The next thing I'm gonna do is actually connect the legs to our base here. And then once that's done, I'm going to go over and clean all the pipes, because obviously there's, you know, a little bit of residue and soot on there. So we're gonna get that off, get all the price tags off as well, and get these looking really nice, spick and span. And once that's done, we will just use some clear coat and make them look real pretty, and make sure they don't get anyone else disgustingly dirty. Let's do it. All right, guys, a lot has happened, a lot of frustration. Here's a quick summary. When I had everything all set and put together, I did not realize that my flanges from the outer width of this flange to that flange ended up being wider than my actual table. And I tried to retighten everything thinking, all right, that'll be just enough. Everything will sit fine. It was not just fine. It was not just enough. So I tried to take everything apart. That didn't work. I ended up having to go to my dad's house. My dad was so clutch. He's my hero. And we took apart the legs with his vise. And I went and I bought new parts for here. I have a 12-inch nipple, a 3-inch nipple, and then the coupling. So instead of our 18-inch pieces we had in there, we now have a 12 and a 3 with the coupling. And those are also 1 inch in diameter. So now we are finally actually done with the legs. And we are gonna cut some bracing for the bottom of this table, which is looking oh so nice. So let's get into it. So what we have done, our legs, like I said, assembled, clear coated. Pops, say hi to the YouTubes.
Hi, YouTube.
Thank you. What we did is I cut some 1x8 that were 8 feet long. I bought 2 pieces, cut them to about 40 inches, and then we just took some screws, mounted it to the under bottom of the table so that everything's nice and sturdy underneath. And now we are ready to put these legs on, so we're gonna do that with a little bit of a time lapse. And that is it for this week's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I truly appreciate the support. If you could leave a like on the video, comment down below what you think of the project, what could I have done better, anything like that, let me know down below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications. It would mean the world to me. I truly appreciate it. You know, obviously, I'm not sponsored by anybody, so all these projects come out of my own pocket, so that's what I do for the YouTubes. Anyways, it's 11 o'clock at night. I gotta get to bed. Thank you so much again for watching. Have a great day or night. Don't forget to keep God number one. God bless.